What's going on, guys? Jim here from Clockwork Industries. Welcome back to another Clockwork gaming video for Diablo 4. So, last video I did, I was talking about poison imbue with unstable imbuements. So this gives you like an explosion every time you're standing in the puddle from your dagger or whatever you put it on with the bursting venoms, where it puts the pool of poison on the ground, gives you unlimited charges of poison imbuement, and then you can stand in the puddle and keep blasting poison explosions while you're standing in there because you have unlimited charges of it. So I recently ended up getting I got Frostburn gauntlets a while ago, and I saw them in my stash, and I was like, you know what, I want to try this out and see how it works. And I was trying to put together a build with cold imbue and poison imbue and combo them together, because there was a couple things where like poison does more damage when enemies are chilled, and I was trying to use the Pentient Greaves, and I didn't like not having the evade charges, so I ended up dropping those boots. But I felt like there was something there with the freeze build, and what I ended up doing was using when you hit a crowd control enemy, there's up to 46% chance that crowd control effect will spread to another unaffected enemy. So what it basically does is it takes that freeze and freezes the whole pack of everything in front of you. And then I don't know how critical this will be, but you get 24% increased lucky hit chance against crowd control's enemies. So when you're hitting that enemy that's already frozen, gives you way higher chance of lucky hit to spread that. It also boosts the puddles for the poison. And then the other key to this here is, well, two other things that are comboing here, but I'll get to that in a second. This dagger. Now I don't know if I'm going to be changing this in a little bit. I want to try the Doombringer sword because there's also some life steal on that Doombringer sword with some lucky hit chance, and then a shadow explosion that gives damage reduction, because I feel like I need to be a little more tanky. I got some life, decent amount of armor, but I feel like I could use more. My attack power was like almost 1,000 more, and it went down a little bit, but it's not really necessary. This is still almost overkill attack power for doing this right now. This is just a level 42. I'm going to go through it here in a second just to show you how it works. But I want to try switching back over to swords because I think we'll get more damage output out of that. But this has been the primary thing that I've been trying to do in this game so far, is just getting different aspects and uniques and trying them out. And if this keeps working as I think it is, which so far so good, I'm going to end up switching around all my Paragon boards to use the control, where you do 10% increased damage to slowed or chilled enemies, and instead 20% increased damage to stunned or frozen enemies. And then there's tons of increased crowd control. There's also a lot of armor in this other Paragon board, which is, pull that up really quick, this one, the cheap shop board. So inside here there's a ton of nodes for damage to crowd control, critical strike damage to crowd control, increased damage for each nearby enemy. Crowd controls is 25% damage because everything around you. You're gonna be maxed out on this at all times. More armor and damage reduction from elites. More armor, damage to healthy. I would just be going to get some of these for the armor, but probably the elite one mostly. Damage to crowd control and armor. So I'll go start killing some stuff to give you a general idea. So I want to change the Paragon board because I think this can scale further. Like I said, we're only in a tier 43 right now, and I'm only also level 85. But see, everything starts freezing here, and then you can just keep walking through the mobs. It's actually better the more that are there, but the thing is, you kind of almost want to start a little bit light. The other key to this, and the survivability aspect, at least with what I'm using right now, the temerity pants. So these give you a barrier beyond what you heal. Now also with this, and we're already stacking the lucky hit, 10% increased healing received, 5% chance to heal for 1,200 life. So you're getting heals from that, but you're also getting heals from your skill tree over here with siphoning strikes. So this is giving you 3% life per crit on the close enemies, which your puncture is going to do it, and also your twisting blades, and even shadow step can do that if that crits as well. So that's going to take back 3% life. Temerity is going to bring back life. Temerity is going to put a barrier on you for bringing back the life as well. I'm also using Dark Shroud for some damage mitigation, just to try to just until I can feel like I can get a little bit tankier. But you can see just like the frost just keeps spreading to enemy, and everything stays frozen. Now, what I'm running into is when you get to a group that is just a little bit too big, and they have enough damage to take you out before you can get those first freezes on them. But once the freezes are on, they'll refreeze. You can stun. The stuns will spread, like the Shadow Step stun. I use that as well. Another crowd control. Also, another good thing, your slows will start spreading to each mob. So slow them down a little bit. Everything just freezes. So, you know, if you had the legendary node in that Paragon board where damage to crowd control, you're getting 25% more damage right there. Crit damage to these, it just spreads. You could just literally walk through, clicking back and forth between puncture and twisting blades, and it just keeps going and going. Then when you're in the puddle there, you can spam poison imbue, so you just keep blasting poison bombs and just keep it rolling. So it's kind of where I want it, but I noticed like maybe it's just because of my level or where I'm at. Right around a little over Nightmare 50, I start struggling a little bit, but I haven't really tried pushing. I made some updates today. I changed my boots out. I tried a couple other things. I might be able to push this a little bit further, but you know, I'm also only level 85. I have a lot more Paragon points. I still have 8 more Paragon points to get in my Renown grind. I got like, I think I have 3 of the 5 zones done with that, so I need to go get those other 2 so I can get some extra points there. I think I should be able to use all the boards I'm using now and still add into the next one for all the cheap shot stuff, because I would like to keep some of the stuff in this other board, even though I'm not quite using everything in the ultimate board. It has the fleeting, which is control impaired duration, which is super nice for the higher level nightmare dungeons where you're getting stunned constantly. That's why I'm still using the ultimate. I was trying to find a way out of the ultimate, but I don't know. Just with rogues having nothing else to make you unstoppable, it's tough to drop this. It's also a lot of good extra burst damage as well. I'm noticing myself not even need to use it as often, just because like with the poison and the frost, I can just keep pushing right through the pack and everything stays frozen, slowed, stunned, poisoned, and you can just keep pushing forward. Even some like insanely crazy packs of mobs where you're like, there's no way I should be surviving this, and you just can keep spamming twisting blades and pushing right through. Like, I mean, we're pretty much breezing through at 43 like it's a normal dungeon. So I'm really liking this build so far. I think a couple tweaks and we'll be able to make a push even further than I'm able to right now. And I'm really interested to see what I'm going to be able to get down with this build at level 100 with all my Paragon points and all that stuff. The only downside I think that might be to this build is like everything's just frozen, stays frozen, and basically it'll stay frozen until you kill everything. I mean, you can pretty much keep everything locked down. And then you start working with damage to crowd control, damage to frozen. There's a couple good things you can combo into this. And of course you want everything to be vulnerable as well. I have a lot of extra vulnerable damage from my crossbow stat stick. I mean, unless you get really sloppy, you can just keep freezing and pushing through. Look at all the stuns spreading around. Now the downside too is like I ran out of places to put there's even going to be a big pack. Just everything freezes and dies. Just blast right through. And I use preparation because I am using my ultimate. This might be something I change in the future. I do like having the fact that it goes reduces the cooldown, because I end up having my ultimate like every 30 seconds instead of like every minute or whatever it's supposed to be for Shadow Clone. But the main thing about it really isn't, it's not so much the damage, it's the 4 seconds of unstoppable. And the fact that you can just go back and forth between your basic and twisting blades and dump as much energy as you can. The other thing, there's one other last thing I want to one of the things that keeps my energy going at some points here too is I drop the basic attack, gives you energy when you hit an elite for gain 18 primary resource for every 25 life you heal. Because of all the life leech and life on hit with this, you basically, there's some instances when you're in a big pack, you don't even have to hit your basic attack. You can just keep spamming Twisting Blades until everything's gone. Because you're losing just enough life that you need to get healed, and doing the healing gives you more energy back. So it's kind of like in the really big packs where you have most of the mobs frozen and some of them are able to hit you, so it's mitigating some of the damage. Look how far the freeze spreads. It's pretty awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's another satisfying build. It kind of reminds me of the Shadow Imbuement, where like I like Shadow Imbuement because of the feeling of everything just blowing up and all the big shadow explosions. And this is pretty similar with all the freeze. It's basically like freeze bombs. Everything freezes and then just explodes and crumbles. The only thing about this build is it's pretty heavily dependent on a lot of different pieces. It's not a build that you're going to end up... It's not a build you can really focus farm. It's kind of a build you can play around with once you get lucky enough to find a few of these uniques. And the aspects are really easy to get. It's getting the uniques that kind of put this together. You're going to need to find the Frostburn gauntlets. You're going to need to find... well, out of the uniques that I'm using, there might be a way to work this out without them, but you're going to want Cowl of the Nameless for the helm for the lucky hit, Frostburn Gauntlets for the chance to freeze on lucky hit. This also has a 5% chance to give you back primary resource. Temerity Pants for the life on hit heals, the bonus healing, and the barrier. Ashira's Kanjar for the attack speed, and the main thing here, the big boost of lucky hit chance. Also, if you can, try to get lucky hit on your rings everywhere you can stack it. I might try to re-roll this ring, actually. I don't know, all the rolls on here are really nice. I don't know if I might even mess with it. I guess I could probably roll off damage, poison damage, since I have so much of it in other places. And it's not a multiplier, it adds on. So I might try to get re-roll for lucky hit, or use a different ring to try out. I have a bunch in my stash. But yeah, I'll go through all the pieces really quick one more time. Cowl of the Nameless, the Warlord Plate of Disobedience, where just stacking armor, Frostburn Gauntlets, Temerity Pants, Shared Misery Boots for lucky hit, spreads crowd control, Twisting Blades, try to get a max roll on your weapon here, Kanjar's Dagger for lucky hit chance and attack speed. You know, the faster you're hitting, the more strikes you're going to get in, the more chance for lucky hits. The lucky hit Poison Imbue, the Bursting Venoms. We have the Accelerating Ring for more attack speed. Starlight Circle, the for regaining energy. And then Unstable Imbuements. There's probably ways to tweak this and play around with other aspects. If you do try to put this together and make some different changes to it, let me know. And then once I do a rebuild with the Paragon board and I switch it up and see, I want to see if it does give me more damage output. I'm gonna try to keep a lot of what I already have. I just want to I think I might want to try to get to the other pieces first, like the cheap shop board first, and see if I can get extra. Like even these big heavy hitters, they just stay frozen or they stay stunned, and you can just rinse and repeat. And then if they do start hitting you, you just steal the life back, and you're good to go. I did just roll these new boots today, trying to get as much defensive on the pieces that I'm allowed here, and I really only have my chest and boots to do that. So on the chest, I think I just made this recently too. We have damage reduction, max life, controlled impaired reduction. I've been rolling that. I also have total armor. I also am putting in a topaz. I might put another topaz in the pants too, to try to get as much damage reduction when I do get stunned. But also in my Paragon tree, I have like 28. I'm going to have 28% reduction, and then I'll also have 14 here on my chest. And then I'm not sure if you can roll that on the boots, but I rolled these boots today with damage reduction while injured, almost 40%, dodge chance, move 25% movement speed, and energy cost reduction. I might keep rolling around with the energy cost reduction, but they're all pretty high rolls. And when you pop the Dark Shroud, you are cruising. I think you could probably also get movement speed on your amulet. That is probably one of the last pieces right now. I need to get it as an ancestral and with 4 stats. So I'm going to be working on that. And like I said, this is probably going to be one of the only places where you're going to have to look out because the freeze is not going to work on the bosses, but you are going to get the lucky hits for the healing you back. You're going to get the life steal. And then you still got your poison damage. You're going to die from poison. Oh, nice. We just hit level 86. And we just got another pair of Pentian Greaves. GG's. Almost a max roll on the bonus. I might try to use those again in the future, but I really like the boots that I just got, and I love having the extra evade charges, but there might be a way to work this into the build too. That's low movement speed on there too. But the crowd control duration is nice, slow reduction is nice. Cold resistance kind of meh. Resistances need a big buff in this game right now, but this video's already gone on a little bit longer than I want to, but I kind of wanted to go over the build that I've been playing around with. This has been the most fun part of the game for me so far. I've not been in a rush to hit 100. We're going to get there no problem now, especially with the recent patch. It's just kind of getting aspects, getting different uniques, and like, oh, a new unique. Let's see if we can make a build out of this. And that's pretty much going to be my goal with playing most of the characters outside of each seasonal buff that we get. It's going to be this kind of stuff. So if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Twitch stream, once YouTube lets me post links on this channel, I'll post all the links to all that down in the description. But yeah, we're live on Twitch pretty much every morning. And going through these builds, Theorycrafting while we're streaming, and running Nightmare Dungeons, doing Hell Tides and stuff like that, and just talking about the game. So feel free to come on over there if you're around Twitch in the mornings, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.